You're just gonna play it again.
Yeah, it's just going to keep going. All right, welcome to the D League podcast. This is a big deal, a surprise pod coming out of nowhere on this Wednesday night. Normal pod night, but not normal pod schedule.
We're going above and beyond
Mm-hmm.
for all you Muppets.
Content you didn't even expect.
Yeah, this will be nice for your drive up or your flight up or your whatever commute to get here.
Amtrak.
Live here.
Maybe you're sitting in the back of Ben Freese's car and you don't have anything to do and don't want to talk to him.
He lives here.
Just so.
But who amongst us has not been in the back of Freeze's car?
Maybe he lives far enough away from the draft location that this is the perfect amount of time to block him out.
Yeah.
Do you think about that?
Well, he lives in... I probably shouldn't dox him, so never mind.
Yeah, we're going to keep it more anonymous, but except for him.
Yeah. Actually,
he lives
a bar
at
by
this...
him that probably would have been a fucking great spot to do the draft. It's shitty enough.
There's a lot of good spots.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was basically you, Austin's idea that we would just quick drop some surprise content so people had something to do maybe if they were feeling like getting in the mood for draft weekend. So
yeah, if they're anything like me and they've been listening to like fantasy football podcasts and they're just kind of sick of everything, maybe this is a little like a mix up, something fresh.
Get hyped for actual draft weekend. It's going to be you. You're going to be there picking players, and then you'll have another entire year before it matters again.
Actually, important point on that, the Fantasy Footballers My Guys comes out Friday. So if you want to look, this is a perfect list of about 9 players you should never touch, no matter how low they drop.
So if you're in any of either of our leagues, if you're in Presidents or you're in whatever Guggenheim, draft these guys. They are your guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Get this list. Then
so
you can
really
combine.
Like a, huh?
I said combine that with Matthew Berry's like whatever he's squirting out this year.
Yeah, Benda sent me immediately this. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. ESPN dropped this like ESPN's 10 players to do not draft, and both of us were like, okay, well I'm writing all that down. I'm gonna.
This is my draft plan.
Guys. But then they had cop outs. It was like Kyler Murray, who doesn't, his fucking ACL is gone, so obviously we're not going to draft him. It was just a bunch of like low hanging fruit, no balls on these guys. But that actually reminds me,
don't draft CJ2K. Don't do it.
LaDainian Tomlinson might not have it anymore.
Yeah, Megatron. Probably not.
So I'm in a dynasty league with Will and Tishan and a few other guys, and I'm also in an IDP league now. I joined another one. It's somehow on MFL.
Did you say IDP or IBP?
Iowa Beef. What was the other product?
Processors.
Processors. No, it's not an IBP league. Dad would own that though. And so I I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. It's Dynasty, so I'm gonna subscribe to a actual podcast. And the way they worded it was like, okay, we have our hi Paul, we have our weekly show, and then if you subscribe to the Patreon for like $5 a month, you get the After Hours podcast. And then if it's 10. Yeah, we see you, Paul. If it's 10,
I'm actually putting that on stream. Like that's me.
Oh. You can just be Paul?
No, I he comments. I can see the chat.
Oh, but you can show it up on this.
And then I can click show on stream.
That's awesome.
And then it shows it on stream.
So $5 gets you this After Hours show, and then $10 is like we're gonna break down extra stuff. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna try the first month. And so $10 down the drain because their After Hours show these two fucking clowns talking about life lessons and how they relate to dynasty football, and it's just them talking about how they go biking and mountain climbing and shit for 45 minutes. That's what you get for $5. And then if you go $10, that's the extra podcasts. It's like, oh, let's do a deep dive on like the running back situation in AFC East or some shit like that. You're like,
That's like,
what the fuck? I don't want your after hours trash. Like, what? Nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear about that crap. Like, it's different for us. Everyone wants to hear me talk, but you're not paying for
yeah.
anything, and I'm not a fantasy expert.
There was that reminded me that like they're charging for this content, but I was in like some freshman philosophy class in college, and I tried really hard to bend like the Dante's Inferno journey into whatever like thing we were talking about, and I specifically like the professor was like, I don't really know where you went with this, but like I applaud the effort. And now imagine I could do that for an extra $5 a month.
Yeah, it was just so infuriating. I canceled immediately. Um, I remember my first English class speech. You had to like kill time for 5 minutes or something, and I just did the whole thing from Napoleon Dynamite when he talks about fighting Wolverines.
That's a pretty good one. I mean, since we're just talking about whatever, I tried to. You remember Jack Handy quotes?
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's one that was like he goes off on like just like a 100 words of like, hey, you could do all this because hey, free stick, like that kind of thing. Like, and that's what I submitted as like my senior quote because I thought I was really funny at the time, and it was another one where the editor was like, no, you can't, no, you're not doing this, which is respectable because children should be seen and not heard, especially when they're trying to be too smart for their own good.
Yeah, yeah. You and I were talking a couple of days ago about how like I don't want anybody from college that I don't want to run into anyone that like you haven't kept in touch with, and I think that's like probably the case for most of us. Like we're pretty much in college, you're in like your dumbest and most like annoying and shitty. So the people that have met you then
Yeah.
and then have never seen you again probably are just like, oh god, I hope I never see that dude again.
Yeah, I assume so. But now instead we're going to see a bunch of you at the draft this weekend.
Yeah, should I put the word out and be like, hey, if you know any Delt from between 2001 to 2017, come to Brit's Pub. Just
No,
have
please,
nobody show up.
no. Yeah, no one. Yeah, that wouldn't happen anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah. Speaking of the draft, like I had to look up. I was looking at the Brits pub because I don't know anything about it or anything like that, and like the lawn bowling and all that. And I saw on their website they were like, "Yes, we have leagues," and then at the very bottom it was like, "The leagues are full, and we have a 10-year waiting list."
The lawn
And I
bowling
was,
leagues, yeah.
yeah, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, like
Well,
that's something."
Brits actually burned down, or not burned down, but the inside like completely was blown up during the riots. So we didn't
Oh
like think it was
wow.
gonna ever come back, and then like yeah, like during pandemic, a year later they had redone the whole thing, and I haven't been back since before pandemic season, so we'll
Yeah,
see.
because
We'll see how it is.
yeah, and I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's funny is the last time we had a Minneapolis draft, that was just the place we all kind of landed after we got in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, I've been here. I just didn't like, I didn't know, put two and two together until you were like, oh, the lawn bowling place, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it is gonna be hot as shit. I don't know if it'll be humid because like today it was 87 and like beautiful. I felt
Mm-hmm.
completely fine doing everything outside, but it's supposed to be like 93 or 94. But I'm pretty sure the room we have like overlooks the bowling area. I'm pretty sure it's upper. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember if we have a patio or not, but like there'll be plenty of shade and like air conditioning inside, obviously, so you don't have to stand outside even from noon to one. It'll be all right, I think.
Yeah.
But when people are getting in, I have a couple ideas. One, so I mentioned this in the Discord, but the light rail from the airport will take you basically to the hotel. You just have to get off once and transfer trains to the from Blue Line to Green Line. Super easy. But on the way there is a brewery called Ven, which is right by where I live. So I think the plan is like you, Hanks, Benda, since you and Benda get in pretty like an hour apart. I know a couple of you want to meet my kid, so we'll do that, and then maybe head over to Ven, and as people come in, they can meet us there, and then we can go up to the hotel because I think we can't check in until like 4. That was my plan anyway. Otherwise, you'd have to take like your bags and shit to wherever we went up by the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, people can do whatever they want, but that's kind of where I figured we would be for a couple hours until it's time to check in. Then we can just hop on the train or hitch a ride with Hanks or something.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be it's kind of, I mean, I guess based on what everyone's talking about in Discord and stuff like that, that there is going to be a fairly large cohort already doing stuff as of the morning.
Yeah,
So
there's gonna be a lot of
yeah,
people in Thursday already.
yeah, which we talked about before, but just like that's, I'm really gonna like try to think about that in the upcoming drafts. Is like, what can we do to make this, more of a 3-day weekend thing? Because that, like, it's been, I love the draft. It's always really fun, but it's like you get in kind of mid Friday. Usually everyone ends up at some bar, and then the next day we go to like a bar and draft, and then like hang out until you go to sleep, and then the next day everyone leaves, which is great. It's great to see everybody, but it would kind of be nice to have, I guess, it's like a more stretched out, little more relaxed, like maybe doing the golf thing where you're just kind of doing something fun that's not necessarily like hang out at a bar. So just I again, I really think that that's cool that those guys are doing that, but I'm not getting there early enough, unfortunately, to partake.
Yeah, and I didn't take any days off, so
Right.
I will technically be working when everyone arrives around noon. Um, but I can probably bail around like 2ish.
Yeah.
Um, but then Friday, after people check in and a bunch of people are in, I figured a little bit north of the hotel is where Surly is, and then across the street, I think, or nearby, is a distillery called O'Shaughnessy. And I haven't been to O'Shaughnessy, but Merritt's been a couple times. She said it's fucking awesome. It's huge. So Surly is massive,
Mm.
and both of those places have food. So if we all just
Yeah.
congregate there, a couple beers at Surly, go to O'Shaughnessy for a cocktail or two, and then go from there. Because my mission is to not be hungover for the draft. I don't know how well that will go, but thankfully Renner's not going to be there, so I think I have a fighting chance at not being completely fucking useless on Saturday. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's that. There's also some place called Malcolm Yards, which is like you remember that in the Denver draft we went to that like place that had all the little food trucks inside one building or food places.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what Malcolm Yards basically is.
That's
I just don't
cool.
know the like seating situation or like how we would all be together.
Yeah.
Whereas like O'Shaughnessy and um, Surly both have, it's supposed to be like 80 outs, which is not bad at all, and both of those have tons and tons of outdoor space.
Yeah, that's ideal. Is just like a place that, I mean, I think we've learned our lesson is like when everyone has a good idea and they all split off, and like then the draft kind of turns lame. So like those big places where we can all kind of be and just say hey to everybody and hang out are always the best. But yeah, you were saying about being hungover is like, yeah, at the last draft, I was slowly drinking with plenty of water over a weekend, and I still felt terrible on Sunday. So like, so if that's what you're doing when you drink like a water for every drink, and then you don't drink that much, this one I'm gonna like have to be like, well, I need 2 electrolyte beverages and a water for every one light beer I drink. Otherwise, I'll feel terrible. And so that might be me hydrating all weekend for no, like just to stay afloat.
Well, when
Um,
you and Teresa, when we had dinner with you guys, I had 3 cocktails over the course of like 4 or 5 hours, and I felt
mm.
fucking terrible the next day.
Yeah,
Just awful.
that was funny, is because like it was the same thing the next day. Is like I was like I feel bad, like like my joints were achy, like I was like this is weird, and I wondered if you'd had more because you'd texted me that you felt
No,
terrible, and
that
then
was
no,
it.
we both had 3 really nice, delicious cocktails,
Yeah,
and but that was too, it was too much. My liver can't handle it anymore. So yeah, like
yeah.
what is the,
It's
now
tricky.
this is a good philosophy. Like what does the draft look like as we age and our bodies dissolve into dust? Like how do we adapt as
Yeah,
a league? Like
I guess I just gotta stick away or stay away from hard alcohol, which
hmm,
going to a distillery is the exact opposite of that. But Yeah, I don't know. I think I just like get a little buzz on, and then I'm like, yeah, cocktails. Let's keep going. Let's keep
Well, they
going.
just like you and I both
It's
like
rough.
enjoy the process, like and how they're when they're interesting. So it's like, yeah, I'd like
Yeah.
to sample. I want to try the neat cocktails, but yeah, I guess I'll be looking for some seltzer waters or something.
You can do a THC seltzer or something because both
I don't know what
weed
that is.
and edibles and THC drinks are all legal up here, so you can get high instead of drunk if you want.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. There. You know what's funny is that Dad and I had gone back to. We'd gone back to Ames. We're in London Underground, and
Oh, nice.
they were doing cocktails with like a non-alcoholic spirit, like some herbal spirit.
Hmm.
And I mean, that's a whole different world that seems to be like a thing now that I didn't know about. But it was. I mean, it was. I had one. It was good. But
When Mara was pregnant, I got her like a non-alcoholic liquor. Like it comes
mm,
in a nice bottle, and it was more expensive than any normal booze I buy. So
probably because it's not. They're like, well, instead of like smashing a bunch of potatoes and like letting it rot, we have to actually create something.
yeah, it
All
smelled and
right,
tasted
so
like Hot Topic. So probably not. It
what is
wasn't really
going
worth
on?
it.
Oh, all the comments are like doubling up. Goose wants to know if you're game for lunch beers. So as on topic,
Oh, you mean on Friday? Yeah, I mean we'll probably be at Ven at like 2, so
yeah,
kind of
yeah. I
it's
mean,
late
I think
lunch.
I'm hitting right at lunchtime, so I'm sure I'll be hungry because there's no direct flights anymore from where I live to where you live. So I have to. I'll
Hmm.
be getting to the airport at like 5:30 in the morning. So it's
Yuck.
gonna be a fun day.
Well, yeah, we can probably have some snacks or something at the house, but Ven also has food trucks, so I was like,
Hmm.
do we? It just depends on how long we stay at my place.
All right. Well,
But
that's fun. Did you have any other stories you were talking about? That I can't remember. You said you had a. I had nothing to bring to this content, this podcast. Literally nothing. So
um, no, I
except
just was like,
enthusiasm.
yeah, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, no, I was just what like we're gonna play Evian later, which will be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was just looking at like uh draft stuff. So Mark was texting me if I had done any like mock drafts and stuff, and I hadn't really. I'd only done a couple a while ago, and it just was strange because like sleepers, you can't draft with real people, so you just do like an auto draft, and like
Mm.
the team ahead of me would have like 9 running backs, nothing else. I'm like that doesn't make sense. Um, but there were some pretty funny like weird things, and because I'm a Bamrick, whatever I say like it could probably be the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I thought it'd be kind of funny to lay some landmines, and so now people are gonna overthink uh, shit people they're gonna draft.
Yeah.
So the ones that stood out to me were so Justin Fields is now going in like the third or fourth round because they got DJ Moore, which is like so if you think like Josh Allen, his first 2 years in the NFL, he was terrible. Like he looked like he had no idea what the fuck he was doing, and then they went and got Diggs, and I remember this because I was texting my buddy Lucas about it, and I was like, man, Diggs was being a huge fucking baby in Minnesota, crying all the time because he didn't get enough balls, even though like I don't know, he had like 170 targets. But I was like, oh, have fun going to Josh Allen and just like watching the ball sail over your fucking head every day. And then Josh Allen becomes literally the best quarterback in the NFL, like next to
Yeah.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
And then Hurts, his rookie year is not so great. I don't remember if AJ if was last. I don't remember if last year was Hurts' second year or third year, but they go and get AJ Brown, and suddenly Hurts is like the best quarterback in the NFL. So now it's like the Bears are like, oh, okay, we got a blueprint. Let's go get our wide receiver 1 for Justin Fields. But the problem is Justin Fields is like really bad. He can run, but have you seen any like other Ohio State quarterback like figure it out in the NFL? Like no, they are
If you
all
ask me,
terrible.
if you asked me to name another Ohio State quarterback, I couldn't.
They're all bad.
Okay.
Like they this is what happens when you play in the Big 10, which has one other good team in it, and then you're Ohio State and all of your receivers are like 15 yards open in every single play and you don't get touched. Like Fields can't throw. Just watch the preseason game. Everyone's like, "Holy shit, I got to go get DJ Moore. I got to go get Khalil Herbert. Here's a fun stat. Justin Fields finished the game with 163 yards and 2 touchdowns. This is preseason last week. His air yards, meaning the ball
Right.
released from his hand and was
Yeah.
caught. His total yards for the game, -3 yards. He fucking threw 2 screen passes that went for like 178 yards or some shit like that. And one of them to DJ Moore, he had to almost lay out backwards to catch it. Like, Fields is one of the worst throwers in the entire NFL. It's so funny to me that people are going to spend a fucking 4th round pick on this guy. He's going to be fucking terrible.
So lock in your Justin Fields pick for round
And DJ
4.
Moore too. DJ Moore's right behind him in round 5, and like the guy has never finished higher.
You could get that stack
20.
if
Yeah.
you wanted to. We got a lot of
so
Chicago homers in this league, so we'll see.
Yeah, they're gonna love that. The other one was Bijan is creeping up into like Bijan Robinson is like RB 4 or 5. Everyone's rushing to go get Brees Hall's son out of Iowa State's little brother. But the guy's not that good. Brees Hall was in the league for 3 years and was fucking laying waste to the league behind the worst offensive line in the entire Big 12. And Bijan's stats against Iowa State were like 50 total yards over 3 years. He was fucking garbage. The one defense he had that had anything, Iowa State's, just shut his ass down. He's not that good. I cannot believe people are going to go, oh, it's the Falcons with Arthur Smith, who doesn't know how to, like, he had Marcus Mariota, who just quit football for like 9 weeks. And they're like, oh, the whole offense is going to turn around. Like, Bijan's going to be great. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So I would avoid at all costs.
There you go. First round for 1-1 off the board.
I'd rather pick Brees Hall first overall than fucking touch Bijan Robinson. The guy is he's just another dude. Like, I can't believe this draft. 2 NFL teams had first round running backs, and all we're doing this entire offseason is like, don't pay running backs, they're not fucking worth it. And the fucking Lions are like, hey, a middle linebacker, a position that nobody gives a fuck about for the last 10 years, and a running back, which is even less important than a middle linebacker. Like, let's go get our guys. It's so fucking great. I like the NFC a lot, actually.
You should be really excited then, particularly like that they're making those moves.
Yeah, I like the NFC North a lot. This is where, so the Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions all have like bottom 5 defenses, but then their offenses are going to be like fucking insane. So, well,
there you go, like the
maybe
old
not
Big 12.
Chicago. What are other ones? Actually, there's pretty much no other one. I mean, Etienne and Walker were both really good last year, but then their teams for like no reason at all were like, let's spend second round picks on running backs just to fuck over the fantasy community. Like, actually Seattle in general just like completely boned everybody. They grabbed Charbonnet in the second, so Ken Walker's stock just plummeted, and then Tank Bigsby went to Jacksonville, and everyone is like, I don't even know what to do with ETN now. Actually, this reminds me, I was talking to Knust on our Dynasty draft, and he's like, I just hate every team. Like, I don't want to draft anybody. I'm not excited about it. He literally, this is after the draft is over, for like 20 minutes, Knust just goes team by team, and it was like, I don't want this fucking guy. I don't want this guy. Like, Madison as RB1? Fuck no. Like, I don't want Daniel Jones. I don't want Ken Walker or ETN. Like, and he's right. Every team sucks ass. It's weird. So what pick are you?
4. So
who are you gonna get?
4th pick. I don't know. I guess the 4th pick is really good because it's just like, well, what's left? Like, it's good. The draft will come to me. You know, like, it's gonna. I don't have. You're not far enough where you can actually kind of like select from a few. It's gonna be like, well, did people go grab like? I mean, I'm kind of assuming that people are going to want to grab like the best running backs out there. So I don't know. Like, there's not a lot. It's, you know, there's what, two of the top tier ones at this point. So I don't know. We'll see.
Are you going to go balls and go Kelsey?
I'm going to go. I'm going to start my quarterback stack.
Kelsey Mahomes, yeah.
I'm going to get Aaron Rodgers. first round. I'm gonna bring it back to like our first draft since we're on what are we at? We're not quite we're almost at the 10-year mark
Oh
of the
yeah.
live draft. That's next year, so I'm going to go 9 years back and do that draft again and just draft those players. So
You'll
there
do
was a
it.
time I think I did a first round Aaron Rodgers pick very early, or
I did that.
somebody did.
I did that 2 years in a row. The
Yeah,
one
maybe it was you.
2012 one, and then I did it 2013. Like, well, obviously this is a winning situation.
Yeah,
It was awful.
I know. What are you at again? You're like 7.
I'm 9.
Oh, okay. Well, I was off.
It's been really bad. The mocks I have done, I'm like, I've gone RB, I've gone wide receiver, I've gone a mix of both, and no matter what, it's just like by round 4, I'm like, I fucking hate all these people.
Well, and like because I've just not paid attention like I used to quite the same way. It's like I basically go into the draft kind of like hoping for the best on like the resources I've gathered, but not really knowing who anyone is. Like,
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I'm not like really sure why X person is particularly valuable over another, which probably helps to be honest. Like I know vaguely values and then go from there, and that's like probably a better way to do it.
what also seems like sleepers ADP doesn't update very fast.
Hmm.
Like
Well,
you'll
that's
just
good.
you'll like look at it one day and then it's the same thing for like 2 weeks and then boom, like all of the things have just like flipped. Like Lamar was round 5, I think, and
Hmm.
then just like today I pulled one up and now he's round 3. It's like they just
Oh
nothing
wow,
happens for like 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden everything's
man,
updated.
that's aggressive. So yeah, like I don't know. Like I finally started listening to some of the like stuff that I had last year, and trying to get caught up, and it was a lot of information that kind of washed over me. So I'm not sure how much of it I retained, but yeah, we'll see. All I needed, like, I'm just mainly concerned with not losing or not getting relegated at this point. So after last year's disappointment, like, kind of took a wind out of my competitive sails. Although I was like
Yeah,
remarking about like, yeah, remember when I flipped all those players into like a really insane team?
yeah, you did
Like
great.
I worked the trades and waivers like never before, and like not in a way that was screwing people over. I was like making deals, and it worked out, and then I lost. So even in the end, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was thinking like Paul, you, and Corey Anderson type all had like the 3 best teams pretty much in the league. Like I would consider like roster set. Like Paul had fucking Josh Jacobs, who's like a 4th rounder, who's the RB1,
Hmm.
McCaffrey, Tyreek, um, and Fields. So like
Hmm.
those 4 alone get you like 100 points, and you
Yeah.
didn't even make it to the finals. And then neither did Corey. And then you got to the finals, but it didn't pan out. And it's just
No.
like I actually was reading something that was like if you're if you only like count things like championship, if you didn't win the title and you just think like obviously everything I did was wrong, like that's the wrong way to think about it, because the likelihood of you winning even once you get into the playoffs is like it's completely random.
Yeah.
Like there's no weather, there's injuries, whatever, it does not matter. The more times you get into the playoffs, obviously the more like chances you have at a title, but the actual like individual games, there's literally no way to win or like to know who's going to win.
Yeah. I
So
mean that. Yeah. I mean, how remember what was it? That defense that went off last year, like against me for like
yeah, for like 25 points.
no, it was Lincoln's. Like
Yeah.
Lincoln's went did not was like 4-8 blah blah blah, and
And
like it
Evan
was
Ingram with like 38 points.
yeah, and like they had a combined like 84 points or something
Right.
insane. It was just like I was frustrated. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean
For
it
all you
was
know,
always
a game could get canceled like
yeah
last year. Like it just
yeah.
doesn't
Well,
matter.
there was what was it? It's basically like you can't win in the draft, but you can lose,
Hmm.
and then like making the playoffs is generally a skill of like
Yeah.
managing your team through the season. But then after that, it's like just you're rolling dice for 6 games and that's it.
Yeah.
So,
That actually reminds me, I'm just finishing the 3rd episode of the history of the Minnesota Vikings,
mm-hmm,
which the YouTube channel is called Secret Base. The guy is John Boyce.
mm-hmm,
He's the best content creator / documentarian in the fucking universe. His video on the history of the Minnesota Vikings is just absolutely brilliant. Well, there's 3 of them so far. It's 7 parts because it basically takes you through every decade of the Vikings. But at the end, when Bud Grant, he went to 4 Super Bowls with the Vikings, lost them all. His like whole thing was like, I don't give a shit. Getting to the Super Bowl means that you had like a top season of all time. Like you were one of the best teams of all time. Whoever wins it is kind of like a crapshoot. And it would be nice if one of those was a win, but I think that's like a better and more healthy way to think about it. Like if you made it to the playoffs and you got there, like you did good. That's a sample size of. This is why NBA playoffs are 7 games, or the World Series is 7 games, or blah blah blah. Like when it's
we
just
don't play those.
with single elimination, anything can happen.
Well, this is exactly what I say to make myself sleep better at night when I have the record for longest championship drought in the entire league.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only person who's
Grant.
been here. Yeah, I'm the only person who's been here from the beginning. So I have the most seasons played, and I've literally never won a championship game. So,
damn.
But at winning percentage wise, I'm either number 1 or top 3 winningest by percentage of all time.
So you are like the exception to the rule where you just maximize your chances in the playoffs and eventually you get it, except for you.
Yes.
And Bud Grant.
Yeah, me and Bud.
Yeah. Well, Bud's dead now.
So just me.
So just you, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I like to tell myself.
Yeah. I had a couple fun facts. Calvin Ridley and Mike Evans are the same age. Mike Evans has had 9 1,000 seasons in a row and is going for his 3rd contract. Calvin Ridley is still on his rookie deal. So that blows my mind.
Wow.
The second one I had was Stenson Bennett and Sony Michel were on the same Georgia team. Sony Michel has played for 4 NFL teams, won 2 Super Bowls, and retired in the time it took Stenson Bennett to graduate college. He's on the Rams now, just like Sony.
Wow,
that's incredible. Anyway,
incredible.
So if you're looking for something to do on your flight or whatever, download the history of the Minnesota Vikings. But more importantly, same channel, John did a deep dive. It's called the Bob Emergency, and he goes back through the entire history of baseball or actually all major sports and looks for people named Bob, and then tracks how like in the early days there was a lot of Bobs, but now we're dwindling down to where there's only like 1 or 2, and how like that's a tragedy that needs to be rectified.
Not enough Roberts out there.
He interviews these like old Bobs and stuff just about it, and it's really funny. And then his best one, I think, is probably the search for the saddest punt in NFL history. And it's like a 56-minute documentary on every punt that's like cowardly or sad. And he finds like the most pathetic, shitty one in the 56 years of the NFL. It's amazing.
That is honestly amazing.
It's great content. You'll love it.
And if you want to go down a different rabbit hole while on your plane, this weird random rabbit hole I was going down was this user on Reddit or Medium called Admiral Cloudberg. And what they do is like insanely in-depth, long-form plane crash reports.
Oh, God.
So, like, I mean, it's I've taken this in a different direction, but like it's extremely interesting and well researched. But yeah, so if you want some plane reading, go ahead and check that out.
Talk about plane crashes while you're on your
plane. Yeah.
Did you ever listen to Where There's Your Problem?
Mm-mm.
They just talk about disasters in every like shipwrecks, carnival rides that have gone wrong, like bridges collapsing, and then
there's a couple of things.
Yeah. Go through.
Oh, that's good.
They just talk about like what happened.
There's a whole like YouTube subgenre of like disaster tube, and a lot of them are really trashy, and I don't watch those. But yeah, some of them out there, I'm sure, are more interesting than others.
I watched the one about, I think it was the three guys in the sub, and they like did the decompression wrong, and they like
The
exploded.
Dyson, you're talking
Yeah,
about
the
the
Dyson one.
Dyson incident? Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
familiar. Yeah.
that was fascinating and scary. Probably
Yeah,
painless.
that's yeah, there's a lot of that stuff. Like that stuff like that always comes up in on just random Reddit threads too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um. Well.
We're at about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is this like the quick kind of taster content you were hoping to just put
Just a
out?
dip. Yeah.
Just a little dip.
I don't have
All right.
much. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
Yeah, I mean that's
Except you,
I'm
Benda.
really not Benda, but everyone else. Yeah, I mean honestly, it's gonna be like I'm still kind of amazed we're gonna have like around 42 people. Like there's still a chance we could get more coming than not out of 84, which is pretty incredible. So like yeah, I mean I think there's gonna be a pretty good number of people I haven't seen in a long time. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. This Brit place looks like it's going to be a great place to hang out all day and evening and just hang out and stuff our face and draft some uh what is Bijan
Fucking losers.
Robinson first round.
Yeah. Just ruin your whole season immediately. Um,
Yeah.
One note was stop texting me. Just check the fucking Discord if you want to know where everyone's at. I'm not gonna text 15
Yeah.
people. Where are you at? Where's everybody going? What's the plan tonight? We'll put in Discord where we're going. I'm not. If you're texting me where we're at, I'm just not gonna respond.
Yeah,
Check the Discord.
probably not. And I know you and I both get messages from our kindly friends who still don't want to use Discord,
Mm-hmm.
but just get
There's
on the
40
Discord.
of you.
There's 40 coming. There's 40 that are probably going to be like kind of following along if they need to know anything about the draft. So like it's like the most commonly used, like very commonly used chat app.
Yeah.
It's
Just
not
picture.
hard.
Well, it's just me. I want to know where everyone's at. Well, yeah, you and everyone else. So just we'll put it in the Discord, and then I won't have to text 25 people or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we're going to get a text in response to this specifically.
I know exactly who is going to text in response to that too.
Yeah.
He'll be on a future podcast.
Yeah, we got to get. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Well, after we get done with the draft, we'll have to start getting our little our guest schedule going and crank out quick pods and things like that. So it's going to be a good season. It's going to be fun. This is the second year where we're using the structure. You know, I think we backfilled well with the people that are coming in and bringing good energy. We got, what was it? I said last time that, what was his name? Matt. Yeah, he came in and within 24 hours had already like submitted for a franchise. So like that's the kind of energy I want in here, not never responding to texts and then eventually just being booted from the league because no one can get a hold of you energy.
Yeah, and Burrell, we won't be in bed by 9 p.m., dude. So when you land, you can probably meet up with us on Friday. You don't have to just.
I'll probably be in bed, but yeah, like the younger guys might not. But man, I bet those down sheets calling my name already.
I bet it's nice.
I'm gonna get up at 5 and go for a stroll.
Yeah, are you gonna go for a run around the used Greek land?
No,
it might be sundress week.
That's disgusting. No. I was so happy when someone was like, "Oh, it's on the campus," and I'm like, "Oh, that's a little creepy." That there's like 40 of us dudes that are all like old, and they're like, "Oh no, school isn't in." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool because I've never seen the campus. It'd be neat, and it would be neat to do it without the added context of being a creepy weirdo or appearing to be as one."
Minnesota doesn't start until like September after Labor Day.
Yeah, I heard that. It's something about the fair, right? Like they don't.
Yeah.
They go later because the fair, which is supposed to be amazing.
Yeah, they start later and then obviously get out later, so we won't have to worry about that.
No,
we can go down to Dinky Town and tear it up.
I don't know what that means. I'm assuming it's the college bars.
Yeah, it's like Welch Ave.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What's the oldest? I want to go to like the VFW hall. Like, what's the most slow-paced bar you can possibly think of?
There is a VFW in in Uptown we could go to.
Great.
It has
Great.
karaoke. It's pretty fun.
There's I've never been to the one here, but I guess they have a cool pool, like
The VFW.
I don't know. I think so. Yeah, it might be down. There's one of those, like it's either the Legion or the VFW is like big enough down here. This one place they have has like a legitimately known like drinking pool. I've never been, but it's a thing, I guess.
Bet Todd's there every weekend.
Yeah, probably. I wonder what Todd's doing.
Just stolen.
Not going to the draft. That's why. Todd's not going to the draft. That's for sure.
What an idiot.
Yeah, bummer for him. But all right, well, I guess we won't keep it too long. We'll be like 20 minutes shorter than our target normal pod. But yeah, anyway, check out if you like card games. Check out.
Are we gonna play those?
I probably can't based on time, but maybe tomorrow if we can get away with it. But probably not. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm bringing it. I'm bringing it to the draft.
Will's coming over to my house tomorrow, so.
All right, get up at 5 when I get up, and we'll play in the morning.
Okay.
But yeah, like I'm gonna bring it in my bag, and we can play. So yeah, I don't know. We've got like a undercurrent of Magic fans, so maybe we can get some converts to this game.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it's sweet. Anyway,
I didn't realize it was up to four players. That's interesting.
I didn't really either. I don't know. Like I still have to play some normal games to figure out how all that works. But
we will.
Yeah, we will. We'll get it done. It has a tabletop simulator mod, so I can play anyone in the league anytime. What is he talking about? Edge of the Empire review? That is.
What
is that the Star Wars role-playing game expansion, Goose? Or are you talking about something else? He's typing. I don't know. He just said this.
Oh, I had the chat closed the entire time. I didn't see any of this shit.
I don't know which one he's talking about.
No idea.
Yeah. Oh, Star Wars. I was right. This isn't a role-playing game. This is an LCG card game that is really sweet. It's not an RPG, but okay. We'll wrap it up.
Look it up.
Yeah, it's called Evian. I think that's what we did the pronunciation right. Anyway.
Bye-bye.
All right, we'll call it. Bye. See you guys this weekend. Bye.